Hey everybody, what is up? So today I want to be talking about tips for making friends when you're autistic. I want to give you some tips for making friends when you're on the spectrum. It may not be easy, but building a support system of loved ones and friends is an awesome, powerful antidote for loneliness and for positive mental health. I think it's really important to have a support system, someone who can come and check in on you, call you, even for you to just call them and reach out. It's very important to have these type of systems and support systems. Remember, your vibe attracts your tribe. So I'm just kind of remembering this and learning this and trying to really stick to that little motto. Your vibe attracts your tribe. And it's very, very important. So I put down three bullets here to help make friends if you're on the spectrum. So let's get into this. Number one, set realistic expectations. So whatever the result is, it's okay to feel disappointed. This is totally normal. Feeling disappointed is okay. Everybody's so concerned about wanting to fit in and wanting to be normal, and disappointment's part of life. And I really have learned to accept this recently, and it's totally okay. So setting realistic expectations. I put two little bullets underneath this. So when things don't go your way, there's kind of two approaches you can go about it. One, you could try again. Maybe that person was just having like an off day or was busy and they were unable to reciprocate your efforts. And everybody has off days. I have off days, I have bad days. Why wouldn't somebody else? Maybe it just wasn't their day. So you can always try again. I like to take the second approach, and let me know which one you guys prefer to take when trying to make friends. So the second one is you just let it go. Assure yourself that friendship wasn't meant to be with that person and move on with your day. There's so many people in the world. If I didn't click with that one person, it's fine. I give myself a little A for effort because I tried, and I move on with my day. I need to do that. So number two, learn how to initiate a conversation. Oftentimes, small talk is very challenging for individuals on the spectrum. With that being said, it's not impossible to acquire new skills. I have to constantly tell myself this because I need to push myself. I know that it's possible to make friends. I know that it's possible to socialize, and I have to do it. I just have to do it, especially being a parent. I have to. And learning to initiate conversations is extremely important. So tips, try and have 3 questions ready that you want to ask somebody. If it's the same 3 questions for every time you meet a new individual, that's fine. That's kind of how I am. It's very routine, repetitive, and I can remember them. And 3 compliments to give somebody if you are trying to, start a conversation. Who doesn't enjoy being complimented? So number 3, practice mindfulness. This really helps in social situation. No one enjoys talking to someone when their mind is obviously elsewhere. No one enjoys that. When you feel very anxious about making friends and navigating social situations, then you may be hyper-focused on that, which causes you to unintentionally ignore that person. And I know I've done this quite a few times, trying to, check off all the boxes that I'm doing, all the socially correct cues, and that I am blending in just right with everybody else. And I feel like when someone's talking to me, I'll ignore them, or it looks like I'm paying attention. I'm not. I have absolutely no idea what you just said until you pause and you're looking at me in the eye, and now I know that I'm on the spot and it's time for me to respond. And I have no idea what I'm supposed to do or say. So I would not be telling you these things if I do not practice what I preach. So story time. Okay, so Sunday, that was my opportunity to try and make a new friend. It was on Sunday. So I got all ready for church, and I told my roommate, I was like, my next YouTube video is going to be tips for making friends if you're on the spectrum. And before I do this video, I'm going to go out by myself and do a social situation, and I'm going to attempt to make a friend. So I picked church. So I get to church on Sunday, I make it through the first hour, which is called sacrament. I make it through, no problem, good to go. Have 1 more hour to make it through. So I get to Relief Society, and what Relief Society is it's all the women that are 18 and older in my ward, and were in this class for an hour. And they started this new thing where they want everyone to be included, which is great. But instead of all the chairs being in rows, they're now in a circle, which is fine, whatever. And this lady comes in, she's probably 50, 60 years old, and she looks at me and she goes, "This is a seat taken." She points to the one right next to me. I was like, "No, you go ahead, sit wherever you'd like." So she sits there, and all's good. I'm going on with my day. And all of a sudden, something touches my leg, and I push it off really, really quick. Well, after I kind of figure out what's going on, I realize it was the lady next to me. She stuck her hand on my leg and goes, "Hi, sweetheart, you're new here. What's your name?" And I don't like being touched. I just don't enjoy it. So instinctively, I pushed her hand off. And in my mind, I'm like, oh no, what do I do? Because she kind of scoots back into her own spot where she should have been to begin with, because she asked me if she could sit next to me, not fondle my leg. And now I'm like, oh no, what do I do? Because this isn't rehearsed in my mind, and this is not what I went over with my roommate. I needed to set realistic expectations, which I did for myself, and that was to expect to be, shot down and not make a friend. I wasn't expecting someone to touch me. This wasn't in my schedule for the day, and I don't enjoy being touched. So when she touched me, it kind of shocked me, and I pushed her hand away. So I stand up, and I think what came out of my mouth was, I gotta go. And I just kind of walked out of the room, and I was so embarrassed. And I get home, and I walk in the door. My roommate goes, "I was trying to make a new friend." And I look at him and go, I don't think it went very well. And he goes, "Well, what do you mean by that?" So I tell him the whole story. And he starts laughing. He goes, "It sounds like you need to find a new church." And I'm like, yeah, that's kind of how I thought that went today as well. So yeah, set realistic expectations, practice mindfulness. I feel like I wasn't very mindful on Sunday, and it definitely could have went a lot differently. But again, being on the spectrum, I don't like being touched. A lot of people don't like being touched, but I really don't. I feel like this is my personal space, and you need to be invited into it. Boundaries are very, very important. I feel like I was forced to give physical affection as a child, and to unexpectedly be touched is extremely startling to me. And it could actually really put me in a bad mood and switch my moods like that. For some reason, I think it's very rude. But on the opposite end, I can understand why she thought it was appropriate to touch my leg. And she's just trying to introduce herself and say hi and be social. So I have to remember that what I think is socially appropriate, a lot of other individuals do not. So I hope that my story kind of helps you guys feel like you're not so alone out there. If you have these weird social encounters, I have them every day sometimes, and again, you can let it go and assure yourself that friendship wasn't meant to be. So let me know what you think of my video. Again, liking and subscribing to my YouTube channel is it's great. It helps support me, as motivates me to keep going. I actually really feel like you guys are my friends, and you guys want to be around me. That's why you guys subscribe. So thanks again.